Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. And in this video, we are going to have a little look at consequences and what this means in our reality. So a lot of the time when we are manifesting and we are coming into the awareness that we kind of create where we are on our journey by how we actually choose to respond to it, we then look at the idea of consequences. And consequences will always come up to how you're going to respond in the moment. So what this means is that when we're actually manifesting anything, because manifesting is really just a mind thing, and it's just about being aware of our thoughts and aware of the direction that we want to go. And it's not always about positively thinking. It's not always about having a good self-regulated nervous system, even though I promote that whole idea on the channel, because for me, it's the best way to be able to show up and respond in the way that you want to respond in the moment. But it's about how we actually take an awareness and choose how to respond to whatever it is that is going on. So when we choose the way that we want to respond, the consequence is going to turn out in the way that we would want as well too. So for instance, when we feel triggered, and let's say we're in an argument with somebody, when we feel triggered, we will just continue to argue. We will be the one who will come up with all the excuses. It'll be all this kind of traumatic response that we will be emanating out of us into the argument. So what we emanate out of us in the moment is inevitably what the consequence will be when it comes back. Now, it doesn't mean that things come up in our life that are maybe traumatic and consequences that come up in our life. It doesn't mean that we actually create them. What we actually create is a response to them. And it's the same with everything else in our life. So while things can be going great and you can have a good regulated nervous system, good mindset and direction for where you are going, you're showing up every day and things are unfolding in a great positive way, there are some things that may come unexpectedly, and it's these things that have come unexpectedly that show us the truth of who we are. It shows our character. It shows how well we are intrinsic with our principles and our values, and it reveals to us the person who we are underneath. So when we respond in triggering ways, that is revealing to us that there is something within us that maybe we need to nurture a little bit. So it's like an old wound that we may have had that we may need to look into a little more and kind of overcome it in a way that not that we are not that we are eliminating it from our journey, because everything is valid, but that we are nurturing it in a way that we are not going to allow for us to be in that kind of traumatic response again, if that makes sense. So while things can happen in our life, as I say, that are unexpected, it doesn't mean that we create them. So when we're looking at the law of attraction and we're looking at manifestation and all of that kind of thing, to release that anxiousness and that kind of stress that every negative thought, or if something negative happens, it's because I created it. All of that kind of thing is, I suppose, in a way going to weigh us down if we continue to think in that way. The way we want to be thinking is, okay, this undesirable thing has happened, but my choice is where I actually respond and how I am going to change the direction of it. Where I go from here is actually where I create. When we don't create is when we fall victim to it, or when we fall unconscious to it, and we don't allow ourselves to come into that awareness and allow ourselves to think in the moment about how we want to respond. And a lot of the time when we are not aware of our thoughts, our subconscious mind will respond for us from the past things that it has learned, because our subconscious mind is built up of a program from our behaviors and actions and everything that we take in on this program on a day-to-day basis from the minute that we are born. So when something happens and we're not aware that we actually get to choose how to respond to it, that is when the subconscious mind takes over and recreates the pattern. But when we are aware and we don't want to create the pattern, for instance, that is when we can change the direction by choosing how to respond. So consequences are just a choice of how we actually respond to something in the moment. And when we are manifesting, and we are creating things in our life, it's to give ourselves the pass to understand that there are some things that we can't control, that things can happen that have nothing to do with us, but we do always have the choice to respond in the way that we would desire for things to go. It's like when we look at Viktor Frankl and Man's Search for Meaning, if anyone has read it, that is kind of what his whole premise, I suppose, of logotherapy is, where yes, things can happen in your life, but the last freedom that you have is the freedom of choice, how you're going to respond. So I wanted to do a quick video about that because I know we were chatting about it in the live the other day, but today I just wanted to do a video that would clarify it a little bit for anyone who was on the live and anyone who missed the live as well too. So thank you so much for being here, and I will chat to you soon.